Welcome, welcome, welcome everybody to today's live trading London to New York crossover with the Harmonic Scanner. Hello, Tony. Nice to see you.
Can't believe it.
And if you are on the 7-day free trial, then welcome to our wonderful group, a trading community of over 500 within a much larger community where we learn together, trade together and win together. And you will come into here if you join us, or when you join us, which is our Ninja Forex Traders group, which has been very well put together over 3 years. It is our weekly watch list run by Les. He's on at 7 tonight, extremely good on understanding how the bankers manipulate the markets, so do go and watch that. And then we have a number of live traders up to 8 hours a day, but please go through the units section. And then from here, we will come into our, let me just start it up again. So this is where we spend a lot of our time in the IM Center. Hello, hello, hello everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks for joining. Just getting going. Thought the markets were stalling out quite a bit this morning. And then of course oil news affected the CAD.
Has anyone else lost sound? I can't hear Sarah at all.
Oh, I thought I was the only one.
Don't know how we let her know.
I think it's, I don't know. You have to write it in the chat.
I'll try that then.
Okay.
For some reason, I'd muted myself. I do beg your
Oh, did
pardon.
you? We were all panicking.
We were just wondering.
No, I can hear you.
Oh, good.
Thank you for pointing that out. I don't like to look too much for Pratt any more than usual. The markets were stalling out quite a bit this morning. I was on Chance's session. We took, or he said there were 2 trades set up. So one was AUD-CAD, Australian dollar, Canadian dollar buy. I didn't get into that. And I don't think I got into the other one because I can't even remember what it was. So obviously I didn't get into it. So quite a lot of stalling out, and I have seen some failed scans. But what we do is you can go onto any of these here and copy them, take the scanner trade. I tend to start with Trader's Way, but really you can use any of them down here, and just have a look at what you've got down here. That's it. So CAD GBP JPY, that hasn't solidified yet. I look to see if it's a minimum of 80 pips, that's 339, and then take this little measuring tool on the left and put it here and just take it up. I take it up 20 pips just to see if it's solidified before I draw the scan. I did go through them quickly this morning. That one is Euro-CAD, Canadian dollar, and that's a sell scan. I think I might have drawn this one. Let's have a look. Have I got it up here? We could have a look at that one. Okay, I'll just make a note of that. We'll come back to that. CAD, JPY, Canadian dollar, Japanese yen. There's the new one there. And that is 146. And it has come up here, because the thing with trading is that's 22 pips. So we could have a look at that one. The thing with trading is stick to your rules, because if you don't, why do you bother to have them? And even if you find the markets volatile or wicky, and we've got all sorts of things, we've got supply and demand issues in the world, and a pandemic, and oil and trade wars. So there's an awful lot of different things at play. So even if you find that it's a little bit more tricky for you, if you stick to your rules, particularly with your risk management of 1%, 2%, or 3%, then even if your percentage win rate goes down a little bit, you only need 1 or 2, what I call the home runs, where you catch one of these, bigger moves, and you're fine. But the trick is, the art is to stick to your rules. And all of us have trade sheets that we use, the BYOB, Be Your Own Bank Checklist, for example. So that's the single most important thing. And I'll just go down a little bit further. And there's one here, which is, that's already moved down 20 pips as well. So let me see which ones I drew. And that's Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. So we've got 3 there. And that one's already moved. I've probably got that one. That again is, oh, I didn't draw that because 552, that's a pipette at the end. That's the point after the decimal points. That's only 55 pips. And I like the scans to be bigger because they tend to be, I think, more robust. Although, as I say, we have seen that one's failed, for example, and I think I've drawn that one, in which case I'll get rid of that one. And you know it's failed because it's gone straight up past the stop loss. So that means the D point is not it's not solid down there. It's not finished its move, because the scanner is plotting, as we know, the reversal points in the market, and it hasn't reversed. It's carried on in the same direction. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's probably going to be the new D point, because this is what you call an Elliott wave, and the market will always move in these Elliott waves of 3 to 5, or I think it goes up to 7 to 9, but that's a bit more advanced. But that's what it's doing, and then it finishes and it reverses once it's finished its move. And last one I'll look at down here. So you can see that one did work. Australian dollar, Canadian dollar, quite a lot of a retrace there. Let's just work its way down to take profit too. So I'm going to start with excuse me, get some water. Start with EuroCAD. See that oh, I'll come back to that one. That's one I've drawn that's obviously failed. Canadian dollar, euro, Canadian dollar, where are you? Down here. Sorry guys, it's a little bit slow on the Zoom. It wasn't slow yesterday. And that's the other thing I do, to try and set alerts and not stare at the charts in between alerts. I was up quite late last night setting up charts and setting alerts, because then I don't have to sit and look at them, and then you're not hopping on looking blind. You're just able to see what you were originally looking for when you set the alerts up. So on this EuroCAD one, this one that I did have back here, you can see that it only worked its way down partially, and then it's decided to carry on up. So it's not a good scan at all from that point of view. So we'll have a look at the new one. So I'm going to put it on the hourly, and you can see my time zone down here. Make sure If you click on that, it'll bring up your time zone. So put it in your local time zone so that it's the same as this scanner. And let's see what we've got instead of this. And those were my alerts, which I put on a lower time frame, so they can go straight away because neither of them worked. There. Okay, so we'll come back to our harmonic scanner and we'll see how this has changed. I think all that's happened is the D point has moved. So again, I need to put the time zone down here to my local area and just check these points. So put your vertical line exactly above the XABCD and then look at the bottom. And it's written in American with the month first, so I change it round. So that says 2020-04-14, so I write down here 1404, 1900, 140. And there's the A, so I'm just going to double check this, 0900. I don't think there's any more Forex Factory news. It's very important that we always look at the news to see what red flag news there is, and keep an eye on news throughout the day as well. I use something called FX Street that I quite like, and it just flashed up that they'd agreed the oil contracts for June, which meant that the Canadian, it's very linked with the Canadian dollar because that's apparently about 80% of its economy. So if oil moves, the Canadian dollar moves, and it was agreed a very low price. So that would kind of lead you to think the Canadian dollar, you'd want to perhaps look at sells more on the Canadian dollar because of that. But try not to predict the market, but it is quite good to be informed. So Forex Factory up here, forexfactory.com, we always check this, and some people use some other sites like MyFX Book, I think, as well, where we do our pip lot size calculator. So we've got no news this afternoon. We had some this morning, and nothing on Wednesday. Nothing Wednesday and Thursday. Quite a lot coming up the rest of the week. So we need to be quite aware of that. Euros, GBP, and USD for heavy day on St. George's Day, Thursday, and Friday as well across all the majors. So the end of the week, you need to be very aware of all that indeed. So let's come back to our, this is what we're looking for. So you want the high, the low, high, low, high, and we are on Australian dollar, Canadian dollar. So I've just drawn up the wrong one, so I'm a complete idiot. Don't know why I did that. Sorry. Trying to do too many things at once. Idiot. Right, check the time zone. Let me just quickly put this one down. 15th of the 4th at 1800. 16th of the 4th, if you want to do this one, at 2300. 17th of the 4th at 1400. C, 19th of the 4th at 2300, and D, 21st of the 4th at 11. And did I have that one up? This was one that I was looking at earlier on. Right, so here, let's just take these off so we've got a clean chart for you to see. This is how I do them. And let's see how this has changed. So that D point there, 21st at, and I've got it at 11. Oh, so it hasn't changed. 1 hour EuroCAD That looks like it's up there.
I'm sure there was an earlier scan because I got into the trade this morning and lost.
Yes.
There was, yeah, I think I took it from that.
From the earlier.
From there, just where, yeah, just where
Yeah,
you
so
are there, yeah.
Oh, I must have redrawn it there. So that's but that says the 21st. I'm on the hourly. So I'm not understanding that because that definitely has gone up to there. 20. Oh, I see. I beg your pardon. I've got it. I'm not reading it right. I had it at midnight. It's moved up to here now. So always, if you are trading, try and check the scanner. Sometimes it might not have caught up with you, but if you do see it starting to move up out towards these extensions here, then you know, that might be a sign to be a bit wary of that. So I think these other points are probably the same. Yeah. So your highs and lows haven't moved down here. It's just that D point that's redrawn. So double 17th. Uh, 52 and the C down there. Let's check the B. Yeah, they're all the same. And then I'll just need to come down to the 1 minute and make sure that I've got it on there, because you've got all these candles making up that 1 hourly candle, and you want it on the high spot, which is there. So even though it looked like it was on the high spot on the hourly, just drag it across using your magnet so that it actually is on there. There we are. And you're good to go. And then what I like to do is just lock them on there, use that padlock, and then come back to here. Okay, so we actually could do a 25 to life on this one, because we've got, well, that's a very small doji candle, indecision candle. We've got 2 candles down to the left and 2 to the right. But it's not got a lot of wax on it, as we say. So I'm not sure how robust that's going to be. I'll draw it, but I'm not sure that, let's see, 1, 2 candles to the left. It's going to be this one anyway. We might be a bit late on it. Let's see what this looks like on the 25 to life. So if you're doing this strategy, it's what's called a Fibonacci. Just look on the left-hand menu there and come down to this one that I've starred called the fib retracement. And I've got several different types held on here. So I'll just draw that on, but it's on different settings. So just right click on it and you can set it up here. And then I've got it under templates. So this is the one that I want, 25 to life. And that will change it. And then I had it round the other way, because the 75 is going to be your profit figure, which needs to be the one furthest away from the D point. So take that one off and you want the -1 for a sell. And those are simply the 4 settings. So if you might want to take a screenshot if you're going to do 25 to life. So it's just 0.75 and tick that box if you're in a buy scan, and untick it and have use the dash on your keyboard -0.75 and put it in green for your sell scan. Okay, and that's brought that down there, you see. So what we want to do is make sure that we've got, draw it from the top to the bottom because it's a sell. So we've got the 100% on the D point, and then 2 candles to the left. We're going to go halfway through the body of the candle. I might have to turn the magnet off because it's trying to connect itself to wicks. That's it. And Zoom's making it a little bit slow. So if I just move it slightly, I'll show you better with this. Take a horizontal line, and you want halfway through that body there. I'll make that yellow so you can see it. And if you measure here from the top of that body of that candle to the bottom of the body, that's 20 pips. So we'll take your measurement stick from the left, 2 candles to the left of the D, whichever one is furthest away from the D points. That's definitely this one. And you want 10 pips down. And that's bang on there. So we're going to take our 0 of the fib to there, because this is our breakout zone. So what we're looking for is that we want price on the hourly to come down. It must be past the second candle. It forms part of this structure, so it's got to be the 3rd candle onwards. It's going to come down past that 0. I don't know when it will turn, so you know, whenever it will come back up, but then it'll come back up, and as soon as it hits this 25% line, the blue line is our entry point. So we're going to set something called a sell limit, which means it will trigger on the way up when it hits that price and take you in for the sell. And then it will take you out of the trade if you set your take profit at this level here, which is your 75 line. If I just move that across a bit, maybe we can see it a bit, see the 75. Oh, get that off. I'll just show you the 75 a bit better. And take that off. So it's not. So there's your 75% profit line here, okay? And right, so if we now come back to your left, I always use the slider. So it's a short position. Put that onto your blue line, which is going to be your entry. And we'll see how it compares. I'm going to put the quarter theory on because I like to see. That's very nice, because that's going to help hold price from busting out of the D point. It's got a nice pitchfork, which is a trend line at an angle, which I use, and it's got the quarter theory, which is an aggressive line of support and resistance. So we need to, and also we're only at a ratio of 1 to 1. So you have to decide if you think that's a good enough risk to reward for you, because you're going to potentially risk 48 pips to win more than that. Sorry, come down to the green line, 79, call it 80. So that's going to be a risk of 1 to 1.65 there. So you know, you might feel that's too big a stop loss. I tend to trade with smaller stop losses, but we'll draw it up anyway, because some people, I was on Oren's live Facebook on Saturday night, not all of it, it was a 4-hour marathon, and one of the trainers on there, she said she goes for, it was a slightly different setting on the 25 to life, they did it a slightly different way, and she said she just went for 30 pips every time with a 50 pip stop loss, and she just left them to run. So she was obviously very successful over a period of time, but some people, it's a different trading style. Some people might not like that style, to be risking 50 pips every time to win 30, but because of the accuracy of Fibonacci, which are magic numbers that work based on maths, as is the harmonic scanner, she was obviously very happy with that strategy, and it obviously was very successful. So you have to decide what your appetite for risk is and what your style is. So the stop loss on this would be 1.54432. The entry would be entry sell limit, which is a pending order, 1.53950. It's that little grey box at the side. And then a take profit of TP 1.53155. Okay. And at the moment you can see it's actually coming back up. Looks like it's hit off that quarter theory, it doesn't like it, and it looks like it wants to come back up and test this. So what happens with this type of trading is it won't trigger until it comes down and then hits that blue line on the way up. It's not going to get you into the trade if you set it as a sell limit, because it will only take you in on the way up. A sell stop is when it will pick you up on the way down, like a bit like a bus stop. So you know this is a sell limit. So what I would do with this is you have got the pitchfork coming through. Sometimes people, you know, like to cover their quarter theory, but that's a big stop loss. It's probably not something I would do. The actual D point is there, so that would give us 1.54550, which is a big stop loss of 60 to win 80. So you know, it's up to you. I can only give you the trade ideas and what they look like according to the you know, the Fibonacci. And if you look at those take profit levels, then you've got a quarter theory and a pitchfork coming through here, which means you've got a strong line of support or resistance with the pitchfork and with the quarter theory. So you'd need to pay attention at what it was doing at 1.53500, which is quarter theory, and that would be only 45 pips. 45 pips, because price will stall out at levels. It will stall out there, and we don't know if it's going to reject off that level before it then comes down to the next quarter theory. So if it breaks through that level, then it will want to come down to 1.53000, which is your 95 pips. Okay, so that's that trade there. And I'll show you on a demo account, this one. So we could take this, I'm only doing it on demo to show you, see if my JFX will open up.
Don't we have to wait until it's broken structure though?
Yes,
Sarah?
you have to wait. You have to wait for it to go through that white line, the 0, downwards. That's the breaking out of it, and then it will pick up on the way up, that blue line, the 0.25.
Yeah, so then we'd set the sell limit.
That's what a sell limit does. It'll only pick you up on the way up.
Yeah.
So EURNZD is here. I'll just pull that across. And right click on it for a new order. So make sure you've got the correct pair. Look at your lot size calculator. I write them out at the beginning of each week, what lot size I need for account size. So take that off myfxbook.com. You don't need to look at them in each individual trade then, which could hold you up taking a trade. So say you had something like 152. So we'll put we'll just put a 50 cents on there, stop loss. So type the stop loss in, and we're going to have a pending order here, not market execution, which would get you in straight away. So pending order, and then just write your figures in. So I'm going to write in that one, because I'm only on demo, remember, these are only trade ideas. It's up to you what trades you take. I'll put the take profit in at the past the quarter theory, but you do need to pay attention to that quarter theory and put some alerts on If you haven't got a paid version of TradingView, then I think it's called Call Alerts. You can set alerts. It's an app for your phone, and you can come and have a look at it. And now that says buy limit. Clearly, we don't want that. We want the one called sell limit. And then the price we want it to take us in, that entry price is 1.53950. And then the red there for place the order. And I've done something wrong because that says invalid. And that's what happens. 1.53155. 1.54550. Have I done something wrong there then? Entry 1.53950. Take profit must be the take profit I've done wrong. 1.53155. 1.53. Well, let me set it down at. I'll set that down at the 1.53. 1.53500. No, that's not right. Entry sell limit 1.53950. 950. And take profit 1.531. I can't see what I've done wrong.
Is it because the actual price at the moment is above that?
Oh, that's what it is. It
above
won't,
the entry price, yeah.
so that's not going to let me do that, is it, at the moment? No, but that shouldn't matter, should it, if it's a pending order?
It would have to be a sell stop, I guess, would it, or something like that?
Yes, 1.5410, which obviously I don't want to do because that's just going to take us in. Oh, it's because we have to wait till the price has broken structure. So set an alert on that line before you can then place your sell limit. 54088. Okay, well, anyway, that's how you do it there. And it's not letting me in because here you can see there's your spread from the difference between the sell and the buy price. So it's above the price that we want. It's just going down at the moment. So we'll come out of that one. And there it is on the chart there. Okay, so that's Euro CAD as a 25 to life. I'll just take those off there.
Hi Sarah, it's Ian.
Hello Ian, how are you?
Yeah. Yeah. I've just joined you. Right. I've just written this one up.
Yeah.
Okay, and I've got the quarter just above the entry.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go for a 10 pip SL on this one.
What are you going to go in now?
No, I'm going to wait till it's done the proper break.
Till it's broken the structure down at this zero.
And retested.
Yeah, and also, of course, as we've just said, pay close attention to this area here, even though the take profit's down here, because there's two strong lines of possible rejection there.
Yeah.
And that would be at, would that be at about 10 pips?
What time's that?
Hang on, let me just get this up. Sorry, Ian?
Yeah, I'm just looking also. What I've noticed is it's good to know what times this could, these breaker structure and all that could happen.
Oh, okay, good idea. Yeah, that's 44 pips if it went down to there. So watch out at 44 pips or thereabouts. The time would be tomorrow at midday.
Yeah, that's, oh, I've got it.
Oh, well, 11 UK time.
It would be good if this hangs around in the ranges here, breaks structure, say today, and hangs around between the quarters.
Yes.
Because I think it could return to the top quarter where the pitchfork is crossing it on what day? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah. And that would be a very strong resistance. Yeah, because that's quite a nice setup, as you say, the two quarters and with the pitchfork slicing right through the middle. So it's got quite a lot of strong barriers to try and break the structure up here, hasn't it? Yeah, great. Okay.
So hopefully that one will work, because I have found one or two of the 25 to lives haven't worked that I've sent out on the watch list, but I will put this one out, and we'll hope that this one looks a bit better. But it's individual trading style, because I don't personally like to trade with 60 pip stop losses. You know, it just doesn't suit my mentality. So if I was getting into this trade, I'd probably get in on a market execution as it came below, both a quarter theory and a pitchfork together, where I could cover my stop loss quite tightly between two lines of support and resistance like that. So that's EuroCAD. So we'll have a look at CAD JPY. CAD JPY, that one. Make sure the time zone's correct. So we've got a buy scan of, what do we say it was? 146 pips, and it's already moved up 28. So that's a good one to draw. EuroCAD. So let's see what's happening there. I can't remember if I drew this one. So CAD JPY. Let's take that off. And take those off. And put it on the hourly. Make sure the time zone matches. So this was a big scan that it was in from some time ago. I'll just hide that.
Is this a CAD JPY on the 15th?
Oh, sorry, I didn't. Hourly.
Hourly.
Hourly, new buy scan, yeah. And it's moved up. It's moved up off that D point already by 26 pips.
Yeah, we've got a bit of time before it breaks structure though, hasn't it?
Mm. Well, hopefully this scan won't fail, like some of them. So this is it here. And we've got X 16th of the 4th at 1600, A 16th of the 4th at 2300, B 17th of the 4th at 1400, C 20th of the 4th at 0200, and D 21st of the 4th at 11. Okay, and then come back here, and we're looking somewhere down here. So there are two ways you can do this. You can either take, neither's right nor wrong. You can either take your little brush mark here and just mark your highs and lows, or you can, so you've got low, high, low, high, low, or you can look at it like that visually. Just depends which way you like to work. And then remove your, if you do use the brush, then remove them afterwards so you keep your charts clean. There's our little pattern there, and it's going to be somewhere around about here, 16th at 1600, and just click once because you've got 5 points. That's the next high one, the A, then that's going to be the low one there, and then the next high, 20th at 0200, and 21st at 11 there. So just check back that that looks similar shape. Yes, it does. and then come up here to the top one, and you can see I keep them as favorites, just a plain pitchfork. Use the magnet on the left, and then it'll hang on to the wick if you want it to be accurate. So it's just the slowness on zoom, and make sure it goes on there. And I like to have my latest ones in white. And then this is the only fiddly bit, because you need to make sure that they're on accurately. And again, it's the same thing. We're looking for the lowest candle on the 1 minute. And you can see that one's just wicked through. So that's the one that we want. It's just a pitchfork that matters. You don't need to move the shape a lot across. I usually do, but you don't need to bother. And I padlock it on because sometimes I found, particularly if I'm on Zoom, as you can see, it gets a bit slowed up. Just and pop that on the end of that one. Oh, there. And again with the B. Oh, just needs to catch up. And the A, and down to the C, and then you're good to go. So just always pick the furthest one, and if you're unsure, draw a horizontal line across and pick the one that wicks through. That's it. And then I like to lock them on because I've made that mistake before where they have glitched off. And the reason they need to be accurate is because although you'll only be like a pip out at the beginning, it will end up over a period of months going out 50, 60, 100 pips on the angle, and could be, you know, renders it completely invalid.
When you do your accuracy,
yeah,
what time frame do you use?
Always the same as the one on the Harmonic Scanner.
Right.
So if it's off the hourly, then I would always draw it on TradingView on the hourly. Sometimes I'll take a 15-minute scan, but only if they are 80. I don't even like the look of that one. Even if they're a minimum of 80 pips. So if this one was a minimum of 80 pips, which it is, I would draw that one, but I would make sure on TradingView that I was on my M15. It must be the same time frame. Okay. So that's good to go, and we could do a 25 to life on this one. I know Les likes the candles to be quite robust, you know, and that, you know, whether they're very small or they've got a lot of wax on them, as we say. But we have got enough. No, we haven't. We need to wait for that hourly one to finish, this hourly one. And you've got 2 candles to the left. It's probably going to be this one, but the candle won't reprint on the hourly till the very end, and that's its print forever. So it's just finalizing its print, and it won't tell us where the close is until the last few minutes of the hour. So it's still making its mind up here. We don't know if that was its open, and it's going to close somewhere here, but we don't know. That was its the highest low point, but we don't know where its highest high point is going to be on the close on this buy candle, so we can't 1, 2. Oh, we could take, sorry, we can take 1, 2. We have got a close on the candle, haven't we? We've got that one, so we could draw it as a 25 to life. Why don't we do that? See what we've got. And I'll put quarter theory on, because I do find that these quarter theory and pitchfork do help me on the 25 to life. So you can see, it'd be interesting to see where it actually cuts through that quarter theory. So come up here and take the fib. We're going to put it on the D up to halfway through. That green one, which looks like it's about on that pitchfork. Let me just measure that accurately. And we need to, so that's there. So there is 21 pips. So we want it from the body of the candle at the bottom, we want it to be about 10 pips. So that's 12. So we just move it down a touch. And then we've got our stop loss down here on the D. There is our take profit line just below that quarter theory. And that's quite good because it's got to come back and hit this 25 line, and you've got quarter theory plus a pitchfork before you get back to the D point. So again, quite a nice looking shape, I think. And then we'll come over here to your slider bar. You want a long position for this one, and your entry point on it, this is going to be a buy limit, will be on this blue line here. Okay, and our stop loss is going to be on that pink line. So just write this down on here. So we've got a stop loss at 75.319. This is because it's a JPY, Japanese yen, and it's the currency at the back end that drives the pair. So the Japanese yen has a different set of decimals. It's only working to the 3, unlike the other ones that you've seen on the other majors. That's why it's just slightly different, in case you're wondering. And I don't know why, but it is. We've got an entry of that grey box there, which is going to be a pending order buy limit at 75.593. And notice this pitch, no, it's not pitchfork coming through there, is it? So all these white lines. If I change my pitchfork colour to green or purple, so we can just see it differently from the other things we're doing. I've got the fib in white. So our pitchfork is in purple, and we have got a pitchfork cutting halfway through our profit area. So 593, and then we've got to take profit of this green 9 at 75.965, which is, call it 38 pips, and a stop loss of 27 pips. So that's a 1 to 3 there. So if you're thinking of getting into this trade, what will happen? You'll be on the hourly. You want price to come up through this breakout area, and there is a pitchfork there. That purple dotted line is a pitchfork, which is a trend line on an angle. But it's got Fibonacci built into it, so it makes very strong, aggressive line of support and resistance. Then it's going to come, price needs to come back down, and wherever it turns, I don't know, but it needs to pick up that buy limit on the way down, and then it will take you in the trade. So there's your first line of stalling out, is this pitchfork, and then it should quite nicely go up to there, because if it gets through that level at 70, which is due to start a Tokyo session, which is good because that's JPY, 4 in the morning my time, 3 in the UK, so that's an hour after Tokyo opens. So that's at 70, so I'll put stall out at 75.744. And if it gets through that, then it will want to go to that next level normally. And you've got your take profit there, but actually it should touch quarter theory at 76.000. Just put that down as a take profit. Okay, so I'm just aware we're in the last few minutes of the session. If anyone's got any questions, I'm very happy to answer them. And again, we could try this on a buy limit. So come over here to your CAD JPY pair. Make sure you've got your lot size according to your account size. We use myfxbook.com, something called position size calculator. So right click and that bring up the new order, and then make sure you've got the correct pair up here. The volume will be your lot size according to your account size. You want a pending order. Market execution would get us in now. We don't want that. We want the buy limit because we're waiting for it to break out before it comes down to hit that price before it'll get us in. And you would type in here the stop loss of 75.319. Your take profit, I'd probably put that myself at 76.000 because that's the quarter theory. And then it's going to get us in at a buy limit at an entry of 75.593. Okay, so check your figures that you've got it all correct. It is in blue, so that means it is going to allow us to place it. 5.54. No, it's not. It's blue because it's a buy. I think that's why. I don't usually do pending orders myself. So stop loss, it's because what Kaya said before, it's the price where it is at the moment. It's not allowing us to get into the trade. So you have to wait for it to break out. I think that's why. So that's how you set up a pending order with your buy limit anyway on that scan. So we've done one sell and one buy. So at the moment, price is still working its way up to that pitchfork breakout zone. So that's quite nicely timed there. And,
okay, Sarah.
Yes. Hi, Ian. Yeah.
Ian again, butting in.
No, that's great.
I think you'll understand this bit. I'm not too sure about the rest of the guys, but I'm going to support this harmonic one as it makes its way up a bit. I believe it will go up, come back down and shoot up. The reason I say that is because, you know, these imbalances we've been talking about.
Yeah.
Right, for everybody else who doesn't quite understand what I mean by imbalance, it's on the way down, the pair's left a little bit of money behind. And when it does that, it's called an imbalance. And what it needs to do to balance everything out is to go back up there and pick up that money. A bit like you're going into a bank, there's 3 bags of gold, you've only got 2 hands. You take 2 bags of gold out, go and put them somewhere safe, then you go back to the bank and pick up the other one. Not for this call, I'm afraid. We ain't got time, but I've noticed there's a bit of an imbalance around the 75.8 area. Sarah.
So, yeah, I'm just drawing it.
That's above the 0, you know, the break structure.
75.8. Oh, really?
Yeah, it's 75.751 according to my diagram, which is above the 0.
Yeah,
so I do believe it's going to go up there.
Where I've put this yellow line.
Yeah, it's going to go up there to pick up that bag of gold it left behind. And then it will most likely, while it's going up there, as you know, it creates a new balance where it's come from. So I can see it, to be honest, I can see it bobbing up and down a little bit before it will trigger the entry 0.25 sometime, and then it will shoot up.
So that's basically bankers collecting people's stop losses, isn't it? You know, they're sucking up liquidity, and they've had to sell to buy and buy to sell. So as you say, the two bags of gold need to be balanced. And so is it these long candles here then? They've done these long ones.
Hold on, Sarah, because I'm yeah, come on, go away. I've got some dialogue box in my way. Let's have a look. Yeah, just around there. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've put the blue line across. Oh, brilliant. Okay.
I've taken it off the 1 minute.
Yeah.
So it's not that thick. If you
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Well, thanks for that. Yes. So if anyone wants to know, that's a little bit more advanced, the banker's strategy and how we look at how the bankers manipulate the market. And then as retail traders, we nip into their strategies because they're placing huge lot sizes and we understand what they're doing. Les Gallagher's your man for that, 7 p.m. UK time. And then after this, we've now got Sharon coming on, and then Sarah Jane with Tea Tantrums and Trading, and Les, and I think it'll be the Baby Boomer Power Hour with Brian and Anne for the Canadians and Americans. That's on about 2 o'clock UK time, so Tokyo session. And I'll see all you guys tomorrow. I'm just going to stop recording.